Welcome to Dead Time with your host, Holly Faust. Okay, guys, hi, and welcome to Dead Time Tales. We're back for another episode this week. I am really excited because I have the founders of Dark Hollow Paranormal, Angel and Lindsay, and they have been investigating for about 12 years together, and they both had separate individual paranormal experiences growing up in their childhood. And that's what brought them to where they are today. They own Dark Hollow Paranormal LLC, as well as serve on the board for the Nanty Tri-Area Historical Society, also known as the Haunted Liberty Theater and Museum. And they have been working really hard to build up this location in the community and also renovating it. So let's give them a big welcome. Guys, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, when I had seen your post about, trying to raise awareness and raise funds and everything, I was like, yes, I have to do this. Anybody that knows me and follows me on any of my pages knows I am a huge history buff. It's what I did in the paranormal for over a decade. I was a historical researcher. And I started getting back into investigation. So I was so excited. So can you tell us a little bit about your location?
Absolutely. So it was built in 1920 as the Grand Theater in Nanty, Pennsylvania. Nanty actually had 5 theaters. And the Grand Theater, also known as the Liberty Theater, was one of them. It hosted they did a lot of plays and musicals, eventually moved on to doing movies. They were well known for their cowboy films there. It changed names a couple times to the Family Theater, the Liberty Theater, and then eventually closing down as a theater in the 1960s. A couple things kind of went on with like storage. I think Cummins Hardware used it for storage for appliances there for a while. And then it turned into the Blacklit Community Center where they held dances and did community events there. And then the Historical Society purchased it. I believe it was about 10 years ago. The Historical Society purchased it. And they've been raising funds ever since, trying to get it renovated. There's a lot of changes from what it used to look like as a community center, but it's still not finished enough to open it as a museum. So we have been applying for grants. And we qualify for an LSA grant, which would give us maybe $99,000 toward renovations, which is a huge jump.
Yeah,
A
that is
huge jump.
huge.
Absolutely. And what we're facing now is the town of Nanty, the council of Nanty, they won't sign off on the LSA grant. They feel that they don't think that we will keep our doors open. They don't see how we'll pay our bills. They think that the community would not utilize a historical museum in the town, so they're not signing off on our grant.
Not at all. They have.
Oh, wow. They
Definitely
need
don't
to
have our
talk
back.
to me, man. I did so much research into that area as a whole when I was getting ready to come out when you guys were having your paranormal conference. And they have such a rich history in that area. Like, I can't even remember how many ghost towns themselves
Oh yeah.
are in that. There's 160, I know, ghost towns in PA. And a lot of them are in that area. Like,
Yeah.
and because I remember my daughter's a patient at UPMC Children's Hospital, and we would travel from here in central PA all the way out there, like 4 or 5.5 hour drive constantly. And I would always pass the signs for the ghost town trail. And I'm like, I have to go there. I have to go there. I haven't gotten there yet. I've done a lot of research on it. So that just shocks me that. And I am going to put a link for your little petition that you guys have. I think it's a change.org or something like that.
Yeah.
I am going to put that in the description of both the podcast and the YouTube because guys, history is important to the paranormal. Without history, how are we getting anywhere? How are we getting our information? Now, did they do vaudeville by chance at this theater also? That was like the old time where they would be showing the silent films and they would have the music player there that would be playing like the music and stuff. I got the chance to experience that in Uniontown. And I know a lot of the older theaters, a lot of people don't realize had, old-fashioned vaudeville and which like I'll have to do some research.
Yeah,
Yeah,
without a doubt.
that's a good question because
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to ask one of the older board members.
Yeah, when you were describing it, it sounds like it could have been one of those places that were like the old-time vaudeville theaters. And like I'm finding out in areas where there was coal or steel production, especially in PA, there were commonalities: theaters, bars, and churches.
No, without
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean,
and those are the things
huge.
because I live outside Shamokin, PA, where we're an old coal mining town. And we have a bar and a church on every corner, and I'm sure there was just as many theaters in the area.
Yeah.
Did you just say smoking,
Mhm.
PA?
Our
Yeah.
neighbor.
One of our great friends, funny enough, she went to smoking high school. Like that's where she's from. So
Oh,
that's
that
it's
is so
crazy.
funny. Well, yeah, I live by Gwen that does
Yeah.
the PA
Oh, that's
Cryptid Festival.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where I have different color hair today, so.
No, I know that. Yeah.
But yeah, Gwen is like right down the road from me. I could probably like shoot a BB gun and like it'll land on her house at some point.
We
Oh my
love
gosh,
her.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, she loves you guys too. But yeah, and I think it's so important. Like so many of the historical places are closing because
Hmm.
communities don't think they're worth the history.
Yeah.
But as a historian, I feel if we don't look at our history, we're doomed to repeat it.
Right.
And
Exactly.
there's so much to learn. Like I did a theater. I actually helped, which I know how much the undertaking costs to try to restore a location. We had a mansion out in Uniontown, PA, that I used to do events at. It's called the Keeley Mansion. And if you're familiar with like Mount Macrina, I don't know if you're familiar with Uniontown at all, but there's a convent
Mhm.
called Mount Macrina. This mansion in town was literally is the twin to that convent, Mount Macrina.
Wow.
And unfortunately, like we could not get things going. And that's why I'm so adamant about getting places like you guys on my show because people want to go to the big places. I'm happy going to the little ones. I mean, I
Hmm.
was actually talking to we travel. And I
Uh,
was actually talking to the group that I travel with and telling them about the Liberty Theater. And I'm like, maybe we should look at this and go to the Doss House and like do a weekend because
oh yeah.
we're going to Samuel Miller Mansion in December. And we're going to be down there in Columbia for 4 days. So, do you guys get a lot of paranormal activity in there?
Absolutely.
Oh
We get a lot. And in fact, it's funny because when I first started associating with the Historical Society, that was the first thing that they talked about actually was some of the ghost activity and how they were having a hard time keeping workers and volunteers because they'd go in there to
No.
do stuff and then something would happen that would spook them and they'd run out. So I was actually one of the first people to ever investigate it because I was investigating with a different group at the time before I formed Dark Hollow, and I said, "Let me investigate it. If you guys are telling me it's haunted, let me investigate it." And I did, and not long after that, I came to them with a proposal, and I said, "Why don't you open it up and let teams come in here? You can charge a nightly rate. That will help you with your renovation costs." And they were like, that sounds great. Would you set up a Facebook page for it and run like a booking for it? And I said, absolutely. And so I've been doing it ever since.
yeah. Here we are.
Hmm.
And that's awesome because I don't think a lot of these historical locations that are struggling to survive, I don't think they understand that like opening it up to the
Hmm.
paranormal community is, especially at night. We have down from our house an Oddfellows orphanage.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get a hold of the owner because Kaylani the ghost hunter was there and Destination Fear were both there and did YouTube episodes there. I'm
Okay.
like, I've lived near this man for 26 years and he will not let me in that building.
No kidding.
I'm like, dude, come on now.
Need to jump on
Oh man.
Yeah. And I'm like, because he wants to turn it into like a place for seniors. And I'm like, we can help you with that.
right.
Right.
Especially now that Kaylani and Destination Fear have both been on. there.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
said, "You're on the map now."
Yeah,
People
exactly.
Yep.
wanna come in, so but
Exactly.
let's see, and that's why I love the whole historical aspect of your location because I know you
Mhm.
guys do partner with some other locations too out that
Mhm.
way,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and I know it's all about, like with me, the history.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of us with Dark Hollow Paranormal, we refer to Liberty as our home base.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
is
Because that's
definitely
like
us.
our home location that we support the most. We have other locations that we
Yeah.
support as well, like Crescent and the Doss House and the Cambria County Jail. But
Yeah, but
you know,
when you say Liberty Theater is Dark Hollow.
yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
like that's
oh,
just our home
that's how
base.
I know it, like,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that you guys were involved with some of the other locations because
Hmm.
I had
Mhm.
always, like, associated you with Liberty Theater, and then I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, wait, no, they do other things too."
Yeah.
Yeah, we've actually the past 2 years have been like completely blessed.
And I've
Yeah.
tried to
So
be really good about it because we were one of the we opened up to the paranormal before the other three locations in that area opened up. So when the other areas started opening up, I tried to, be as supportive as possible and
hmm
get involved with them as possible because I
yeah.
wanted to show community support because I was excited that my hometown area was bringing in the paranormal and
Yeah.
welcoming the
Yeah.
paranormal. So I wanted to help welcome it with them. So that's why we're so close with all of those
hmm
locations in that area.
Yeah,
And
like
I
it's
think it's great. Crescent is a place that I'm dying to get into too from, like, way a long time ago when they were the hydroponics place.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was trying to get in it back then, and I can never get enough of my friends to say, "Hey, yeah, let's go do it." I'm like, "You don't even get it. I've been researching this place. We need to go there."
Yeah.
And I try not to research locations being a medium. I
Uh
like to go in blind.
of course.
But
Yeah.
I also like to have that, "Oh, yeah, this has happened here. That has happened here." So I know kind of what to tune in on. Like,
hmm
have you guys gotten, like, any research on, like, any reported deaths or anything like that? Or do you think it's more like residual, just energetic energy that's haunting the location?
There is some documented
Both.
deaths. One I'm not sure if I want to talk about. It's a little
Nope.
bit on the racial side of things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I totally get it. I totally understand that.
But it is
Documented.
documented, and that is definitely a major report that we get in the building. In
hmm
fact, what's interesting about it is we got the activity which had us questioning older board members to why we were getting this type of
Yep, and
activity,
then it came
which
out.
led us to the documentation to back up the paranormal
Yeah, so
That
that
activity.
was
I love
straight
that part.
validation. Yeah.
And then we have another documented death on the property, that was a drug overdose in the back
It
of the building, like
involved
out
a
on the
minor.
outside of the building. We don't believe that he is there, though. That's
Yeah.
just a documented death that happened on the property, but
hmm
we've never made contact with
Right.
that person. But I do think a lot of it can be residual, but also in Nanoglow, those buildings used to butt up against each other. So the
Yes.
Liberty Theater kind of stands alone right now, but there used to be other buildings that butted up against it on both sides. And one of the
hmm
buildings had caught fire. You can still see burn marks
On
on
the
the
top.
roof of our building. So what we've been told by other psychics is that a lot of the spirits come and go from like the outer buildings, and they see a lot of people walking around outside the building and coming in and out. So I think that a lot of the energy that we get sometimes is
hmm
coming from some of
Just
the
the
other
area.
buildings that aren't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like a
Eh,
whole entire like local residual
Oh,
energy,
Yeah.
yeah, if you
you
think
know?
about it, like, I know that area was a lot of coke and steel and stuff in that area. They're very similar to the way the towns around here are built up, row homes and things like
Yeah.
that, and I know when I do investigations, I mostly work with private clients, and we get things from, like, 2, 3 houses apart because these things are literally, like, just walking
Absolutely.
through the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
So that makes
Mhm.
sense to me knowing that it's like it was part of, like, a row type of
Mhm.
experience, and now that would make sense with the energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a documented, well, I guess it's not really documented, but there was a fire on the property before the theater was built in
Yes.
1920, but we can't find documents on it because the fire happened before newspapers existed.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
information that was passed down. So we have no way of knowing whether anyone died in that fire.
We
Right.
don't, but I know we have had lots of information about them being a fire and
Yes.
everything, evidence that we've caught.
Yeah, and we've captured
So
lots of evidence where the spirits will talk about fire. A lot of people will smell smoke in the
yeah,
basement
that's a
of the
big thing.
theater.
That's a big thing.
Mhm.
It's the smell.
Yeah, so it's a lot of olfactory sensations because that's exactly what happens to me in Gettysburg. I can smell the cannons and the
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that's.
Yeah.
I get
I
all of the
bet.
cigars and all of
Yeah.
that. So that's like I always like that. I think it reinforces what we're looking at as investigators because like I
Mhm.
was very anti-tech forever.
Yeah,
It's just been the last like 2 or 3 years. I ended up going to White Hill and I met
I
Lauren
can imagine.
Helgerson.
Uh-huh.
And I ended up the first piece of tech I got was a crystal pod.
No kidding.
And it's just because of the crystals. I like shiny things,
Mhm.
and I was just like, "Yeah, I need this." So I ended up that started me on the whole road. Now I have a music box, I have
I was
gear,
gonna
I have
say, yeah.
yeah, it just started. Now I'm looking at
Snowball,
getting
snowball. Yeah,
like a
yeah.
ghost box from another group, and I'm just
Hmm.
like, "Yeah, I'm addicted now."
Yeah,
And,
it's like a
just
tattoo. It's like it's
yeah.
another.
Oh, yeah, and I have them too everywhere.
Yeah, it's another hobby to hurt the wallet. Absolutely.
Yeah. So definitely, but, I know that area out there is just so rich in the steel industry, and so but when you were saying about, like, the racially profiling stuff, I always tell people, like, I totally understand what that's like because the house I grew up in was actually a meeting hall for the KKK.
That
That's the theater.
and we
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So I tell people that all the time because and it what I had learned growing up, that's why I got into the paranormal because my house was, like, lit up, but this place was built in the late 1800s, and it had a huge stage in the attic and all
wow,
these secret passageways, and my father was an Irish Catholic, and they would come down at night from the attic after my dad, and he could
okay,
not so it's just I tell people that all the time. It wasn't just racially provoked either. They also were provoked against other sects of Christianity,
yeah,
which I had never known. And I learned that as I was growing up that if you Catholics were the big ones.
Mhm.
And we just had a discussion not long ago about that because I never understood why, like my dad in particular. And of course my mom, who's a Lakota, she would always have her share of issues too in the one bedroom of the house. So yeah,
Wow.
I totally understand that whole thing because that's what for me. Now I know you guys have had experiences as kids too, but for me, that was the big thing for me that led me
yeah,
to like and then growing up right not too far from the Smurl haunting. And, that was my like, watching my local news and seeing Ed and Lorraine, I was, like, 12, and they were on my
well,
news talking about, this
yeah,
haunting right not too far from us. I mean, I knew the people.
that's crazy.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah, and it's just, like, I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do that when I grow up," and everybody in my family laughed at me.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
And
like the typical story with it, you know? It's like you just
yeah,
get laughed at and like, there was a time where it just that's why people didn't talk about it for the longest time,
Mhm.
you
yeah,
know?
I mean, I started investigating 92.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And it was, like, not talked about at all, like, everybody
Yeah.
thought I had lost it, like, "What do you do?
Yeah,
Just
that was
move
the
the
thing.
houses?" And.
Yeah.
So but did you guys have profound experiences as kids?
We
Yeah.
both did. I'll let you go ahead and start off with
Yeah,
some of yours.
for me it was I would think I was 6 years old when we moved into the house. And it wasn't like right away, but it was after being there for some time. And it started out real subtle and it got intense by the time that we had left. Um, Come to find out, it was an older gentleman that had passed away in the house. And he didn't mean any harm, but me being a child didn't understand that. And for whatever reason, wasn't interacting with my parents, or my parents weren't picking up on it, but me as a child was. So I was the most affected. And at first, my parents just thought that there was something wrong with me. They thought, well, you've got anxiety, you're not sleeping at night, let's buy you relaxation tapes for you to listen to with like white noise and the sound of waves, because I'd be screaming at nighttime that there's a man standing in the doorway staring at me, and or there's a man in the room, there's a man in the closet, like, and it went on for a long time. And by the time I reached teenage years, friends of mine who were spending the night were starting to notice it, and they were commenting on it. And then my parents finally started commenting on it. They were like, okay, now we're starting to notice something. And then my mom finally admitted that she knew that a gentleman had died in the house, and she kept it from me and my dad because she didn't want me and my dad to get scared.
Oh, wow.
And so she kept it from us, and it was like you couldn't hide it at that point. But by that point, things were actually levitating in the house. Like, we had a table in our basement that just completely picked up and just moved, but it, like, in a helpful way. Like, my mom went to grab the table and she says, here, can you help me push this table back under the stairs? And I go, here, yeah, let me help you. And I went to grab the table, and so did she, and neither one of us were touching it. It lifted up and it scooted to where it needed to go and dropped.
See, that's nice, helpful ghosts. Like,
Was that
I
a
wish I
helpful
had
ghost?
helpful
Makes
ones.
it a little easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
wish I had
I
helpful ones. Mine just pushed me down the steps, man.
I
Yeah,
was
that does
terrified.
it.
I didn't know what to do with it. I was
Right.
terrified. I took off running and screaming, and now I know what it was, and it wasn't something I should have been afraid of, but I was at the time, not knowing anything about it. But it definitely sparked my interest because I wanted to know why was the house haunted? What did the ghost want? Why are there ghosts? Like, and then of
Yep.
course, like, it just like spiraled into me joining different paranormal groups until I formed my own group, and going to bigger and bigger haunted places and investigating more and more, and now here I am.
Yeah. And I always say, you guys, like, to me at least, you guys are still like baby investigators.
Yeah,
You
oh,
know,
we're young.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're young because I
Yeah.
mean,
We got
I'm
a lot of time
50.
left.
I'm
Yeah.
50 and I started at like 17, 18 years old. So I've got like 30 plus years under my belt. So
Hell
I
yeah.
like to
Yeah.
I like to hear like from people like you guys that are still, because like you said, when I started out, we didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now everybody's like, "Oh, you do that? That's
It's
pretty
the only
cool."
thing, it's
You
just
know?
field. We got our own TV channels now.
Yeah,
And it's not just unsolved mysteries.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
That's
no,
all it
it's
was when
cool.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, even in the 90s growing up, like, I was
Wasn't
born
a huge
I was born in the 80s, but I say I grew up in the 90s, but
Right.
in the 90s it was just more of like the stories that you told, like, with your family and friends, ghost stories
yeah.
around the table, but you didn't actually, like, I didn't hear of paranormal investigating until Ghost
A
Hunters
little bit
came
later.
out.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started hearing about Ed and Lorraine Warren that I didn't
Right.
hear
Because that's
about when I
because
was younger.
you had a dig back then. Like, I
Yeah.
knew about
Yeah.
Ed and Lorraine because I seen them on my local news.
Yeah.
Yeah, ain't that something?
And that encouraged me to start looking more into their stuff, and then that's when I found out about these groups that were happening in England and the Rhine Institute here in the United States, and, it was just like a snowball. I found out
Mhm.
all of these, like, back at that time, like, in the late '80s and stuff, there were still universities in the US teaching parapsychology,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and psi phenomena was very common. So it's like now it hurts because they don't have that stuff anymore. You have to
I
No.
go
know.
outside the country to get that education.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Outside the country, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
funny you say outside the country. My family I come from a Hispanic background, and they were Mexico and Puerto Rico. And my great grandfather is Puerto Rican. They like practice, like his family practiced brujeria and all that stuff, and
Mhm.
Santeria. And then I was born in Florida. I was first generation here, but then we moved to Virginia, and I'm from a Civil War area. So like my aunt lived in the KKK headquarters in Stafford, Virginia, and then but I was a Fredericksburg Spotsy boy, and
Okay.
a lot of our stuff's there. We're going in houses, we're old plantations, and going to Civil War hospitals, and prominent people that owned the land since the Civil War, and I mean, soldiers, cannon fire. But I mean, everything from seeing things to, you'd
Yeah,
find
you were
mustard
in the
balls in a
heart.
backyard. Yeah, it was good. And then my great grandfather, he was very gifted and able talking to spirits. And he was the one that embraced it. Like when you saw things little, you run to your parents and it's okay. They try to, shake it off. Let's get back in bed. Like he was the type that he'd hold you and he'd tell you, whatever you see, talk to them, ask them what they want. It's not all evil. Like, and then he was always he was a Catholic descent, and he was always like, you got a gift. If they're coming to you, you got a gift, and he always welcomed that. So it wasn't weird. It was always talked about. Spirituality was 100% open
And
in my family.
I've seen that, especially with like Hispanic backgrounds. So, when you think
Yeah.
about like Santeria and all of that stuff that, that that religious aspect of it, they did have, like, my mom being, my parents being Catholic, my mom more so was assimilated.
Hmm.
And the first thing when I started visioning things was, okay, we're gonna go get you exorcised. You're possessed.
Yeah.
And my grandmother was like, no, she's not. No,
Yeah.
my grandparents on my dad's side are from Ireland, and they literally came here. My dad was born on the ship, so I'm first generation born on my dad's side in the country.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's just like, when their belief was a lot different, because my grandfather had that Celtic, Catholic background that was very much into animism and believing everything had a soul. So I had that, but from my close knit family, they all thought I was woohoo.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
how it is. You got like both spectrums,
yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
yeah. Now, thankfully, my children, when they started experiencing stuff, I was a lot more open, and like
Of
they
course.
didn't grow up with the fear like I did.
Right.
They welcome, like, my house. I always tell people, my house. You want to come investigate my house, man? It is hopping.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, my house is like, because we not only welcome them in. I've got a dream walker for a husband. Uh,
Oh wow. Jeez. That's
who
awesome though.
yeah, so it's just like, yeah, I like, a friend of mine who's a psychic said she literally sees this, bright light over my house. It's kinda like a portal to, like, just welcome in whatever.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, as long as it's the right stuff, they can come, but
Yeah,
they said,
yeah,
like, when I got pushed down the steps, like, literally, there's no way physically possible I could have tripped and fell into the middle of my living room.
yeah.
I
Oh boy.
literally got pushed over the side, over a couch, and into the middle of my living room, and that was like, I'm going around the house with, my sage bundles
Yeah, yeah.
and my smudge bowls, and then I get the holy water out, and I was
Yeah, we
just
don't usually go for that energy.
yeah, no,
So, but
but
it's
I'm the
funny.
one who attracts it.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, if they come to you,
Yeah,
it's like I just said, if they come to you, it's for a gift. It's something you got it. It's
yeah,
like, what are you gonna do with it? That's the ultimate question. But
mhm,
you mentioned children. Our kids actually investigate. We do kids events too, and our kids, I
that's
mean, good
awesome.
lord, it's funny on the babies thing. You can go to YouTube and they're watching scary stuff and they're watching ghost hunters and they're watching all that, watching our channels. And I mean,
Oh, yeah,
we let them know that it's
Yeah. I
we
think
explain everything to them. We're so open with
yeah,
it.
I think for me, I was so terrified by it as a kid, and I didn't need to be. If I just would have understood that I could have talked to it like a person, I
Yeah,
don't think I would have been scared. And so for me, it's important that I teach my kids to not be afraid
yeah, of course.
right.
and the proper ways to handle things. And so that's why we're real big with our kids on it, and we're real big on holding junior events every once in a while at the
I
theater
think that's
and
awesome.
Yeah.
inviting kids, and we do it
Did you
during the
guys do
day.
a camp? Were you guys part of one of the day camps that they had for paranormal? I remember seeing ads
Oh,
all
we
over.
did it.
There was, and I thought maybe the Das House. There was one of the locations out that way that had, like, kids come in.
Oh,
And it was
really?
like a paranormal day camp, and I think Whitehill was one of them. There was, like, 3 or 4
Oh.
different
Oh,
locations
wow. Yeah. No, I
that
had no idea.
did, like, and I was just like, "Man, why couldn't they have had this when my kids were kids?"
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because my son, I have pictures of him investigating on the battlefield with me when he was like 6, 7, 8 years old. Um, and like my youngest, she had always been really gifted, and not only, in seeing things, but actually being able to manipulate with her mind. So I think the younger generation is being raised a bit differently than we were. So
Hmm.
they're more open to it. And I think we're seeing a lot more kids with gifts because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Normalizing it. That's all it is. Like when you
Yeah.
normalize it, and it's just part of its energy. You got
Yeah.
you gotta,
It's
you take the
taken a
positive
long
with the
time.
negative.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I got children and youth called on me because my daughter went to school and told them all about the Fae and what the Fae actually were and what they actually did, and had all the kids in their class crying and saying it's not
oh
true.
my goodness.
Yeah, well, she was in 2nd grade.
Oh,
Ah,
that's
but
fucked.
that's also around the time she read the Black Eyed Kids book.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I've
yeah,
heard all about him.
yeah, she was, like, obsessed with Bex at the time, so and she still is. She still has that obsession with anything paranormal like that.
Well, that's awesome. Well, that's it. It's welcome. Like you say, you just normalize it. Just
Mhm.
let them know it's okay, man. It's like that's like you said. We came a long way.
Yeah.
We these times are different, and I think we just came up in the badass era of
Mhm.
normalization with like everything in the paranormal. So it's cool. It was like a great time to be an investigator.
Now, I wanna get back a little bit to your location. Now, when do you guys actually open to the public? Or do you do, like can people come in any night of the week, or are there only certain
Yeah.
nights you book, or
They can honestly come in
Whenever.
any night of the week. We can organize letting somebody in any night of the week.
That's awesome.
We charge $400 a night for up to 10 people, and that's 7 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Oh, that's an awesome time frame too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we give you plenty of time.
We do have electricity. We do not have running water just yet because we don't have the heating hooked up, but we're trying to get the heating hooked up.
Yeah,
So you
Um,
have job Johnnies.
yes,
yeah.
Like
yes,
Penhurst.
There
yes.
you go.
Yeah,
But you know
they
what's cool is we do also have a cafe
oh, that's
um
awesome.
across the street.
Hmm.
So usually when we're
People
there,
come on
we're
over
able to
there.
show. So yeah, and there's a convenience store. Oh Lord, there you could walk to it. 2 minute walk right across this
Yeah,
bridge in front of
that's
there.
the
I mean,
hard part about some of the other locations, like, when you're out in the middle of nowhere, like at Penhurst, there's nothing like that, like, the
yeah.
nearest hotel is a 20-minute drive.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, we're blessed to live probably 16 minutes away from it. But yeah, you have everything you need literally right there. And
yeah.
the town is so close knit and awesome, especially with everyone in the historical society, and we do community days and everything like that. That like when we do have events there, that convenience store, if we tell them, hey, we're gonna have people staying overnight, they will accommodate to us and they will stay overnight the whole time if need be. So
Oh,
it's like
that is
our
awesome.
town is
Yeah.
it's seriously everyone works together.
Mhm.
Cummings Hardware, if you is huge down there. I mean, they help us out. I mean, everywhere, anywhere and everywhere they've been. The
Mhm.
town, we've really been running events in town and bringing everyone together. And
Yeah.
the fire department. I mean, we really do have a great time down there.
I
Yeah.
think that's awesome. Now if you could just get the council behind you to,
I
like, because
I
I mean,
know.
know.
with everything you guys are doing, I'm shocked that they can't see the good. And I know a lot of times it comes from the whole paranormal aspect of it, like, a lot of places aren't comfortable with it.
Yeah.
I know this area, like, gets weirded out, and I'm glad I found, like, my little niche of people,
Yeah.
because up until, like, just the last couple of years, there was no one in this community that, they would all secretly
Mhm.
come to me and say,
Yeah.
"Can you do a reading for me? Can you come cleanse my house? But please don't tell anybody."
Oh.
So,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and it's so, but now, I found that, and I think that's the thing, like you guys said, community, finding the
Yeah.
community that wants to help
Yeah.
build that with you.
Yeah, and we had two board members that voted yes to sign the grant, but then we had three board members that voted no. But there was a board member that was absent the night of the meeting. So they are going to hold another meeting for us on the 22nd. So that was the point of the petition, because I wanted to get the petition out so we could take that with us to the meeting on the 22nd and say, you feel the community doesn't want this, but look at this petition.
Yeah.
Right, and it's not just that community, it's all of the people that you could be bringing in to learn the history.
Exactly.
Right, which is great because the change.org that we're doing the petition through, when you sign the petition, it shows where you're from. So
Right.
what this does is when I print the report out, they're going to see how many people outside of the town, outside of the state even, that want this to happen. And so at that point I can then show these people and say, look, we've got tourism at this point. At this point you're talking about bringing money into the town because people are willing to travel into the town to come to this museum on top of the local people that signed it as well. So,
Well, yeah, and when I was doing, like, the research there, it felt to me like they were very much into their history, especially with, like, the building of the Ghost Town Trail, and that area alone, I for my book, I've been able to find more information about those old towns than
mhm,
any other area in the state.
mhm,
Like, my area, like, the only one that I've been lucky enough to get a ton of information on is Centralia, but that's because it happened in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I grew up watching it. I grew up saying, like, I used to laugh because I grew up 2 hours north of here, and I was always like, I'm going to go to Centralia. And my mom was like, no, you're not. And now I live 15 minutes away.
Yeah, right down the road.
Yeah. That's why for me, I like ghost towns
Yeah.
because I live between two of them and I grew up next to one. And that's a whole other set of history, like right there. Like, is Nanny Glow? I can't remember. Are you guys on part of the ghost town trail?
We are. The Ghost Town
That's what
Trail
I
runs
thought.
right. It runs right through the center of Nanaglow.
That's what I thought when I was
Mhm.
preparing all of my stuff, that it was actually like in there, although it wasn't a ghost town, but it was part of the trail.
You can actually walk off the trail. If you walk off the trail in Nanaglow, you could walk to the theater. Like, the
Okay.
theater is almost visible.
Now I know I definitely have to come to investigate
Mhm.
because, like, I would probably spend more time out on the trail.
On the trail.
The trail's long.
It's
Yeah,
really
well,
long
yeah.
when you
Oh,
have a good
yeah.
time.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
that too. And but like, even just the history of that area, like I said, it ties into our area with coal, but you guys are more with steel. But there
Yeah.
was still a lot of coke and coal out there also.
Coal
Nanaglow
mining.
Nanaglow was a coal mining town, so there was a lot of coal in Nanaglow.
Yeah. And I think that also, I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but I think that can help. That also helps contribute some
Mhm.
to, because what was the theory that I was researching the other day? Do you have column hills out there? They're the big
I've never
old.
noticed. Yeah,
I've never
I've never
They're
noticed.
big
noticed.
old hills that they look like they're coal, but it's column. It's not
Mm-mm.
usable
No,
stuff.
yeah, we
But
usually
like
don't.
here where we live, we have one of the largest column hills in the country. Like, actually,
Oh
I
wow.
think at one time it was the largest in the world. And one of the theories about that I was researching actually stated that that's where a lot of bodies were buried, when the different, like, Molly McGuire's and different, organized crime
They would
companies they would put them in the
Yeah.
column. So that's why I'm wondering if you may have some and not even know it
well, I
because
mean,
of the
possibly, you know how
trees.
that goes.
Yeah, because ours, looks like a forest on top, but the only reason why it's, so exposed is because there's a lot of strip mining that occurs around it still.
Huh.
Wow. I know there was a lot of coal mining accidents.
Oh,
Because a
definitely.
lot of people talk about that, and that's something that we are trying to represent in the museum as well. The museum's not just for the paranormal;
Yeah.
it's the historical society. So it's a
Right.
historical museum. But one of the things that they're in the process of building is a coal mining simulation.
Yeah.
So they're going to have a coal mining cart inside of a
Mm,
wall with a window in
uh-huh.
it to show what
What
the
a mine
inside.
shaft looked like.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly
that's
what it
pretty
looked like.
awesome. See, we've
Mhm.
been lucky in our area that we still have mines that you can go into. We have, like, Ashland has
Oh,
the
that's awesome.
Pioneer Tunnel that you can go down into, and up at Scranton at McDade Park, they also have one that you can get dropped down into and get to experience what it was like down there.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
I struggled because I could always sense the things
Feel
that
it.
happened in those places, and I think that's why, like, even now, like, in different areas in our area, I get bothered and I don't like to go around them because I think it's all of that stuff that happens, like with, Centralia, for example, and that fire's still burning.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
know
Still.
how far it's moved,
Yep.
but there was a lot of anthracite coal. And I think they had said it was like thousands of years that could burn.
Wow.
I mean, you don't see as much smoke coming up from the ground now,
Yeah, but they
but
said it was gonna go forever.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely, I don't think it'll ever extinguish in our lifetime.
Wow. That's
So, and
crazy.
that's why I always ask people about the column, because of hearing those stories about that's where they would hide bodies, because what better way than under a bunch of useless column?
Right.
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
look
Wow.
who's gonna look there, you know?
Uh-huh.
Me now.
That's it.
Like,
I
I'll be
will
like,
now.
let's dig it up. And now and like you guys said, you do have a lot of activity at the theater, correct?
Oh
So
yeah,
I
absolutely.
yeah, I can't wait to like I'm gonna make like my little crew that I travel with actually watch this podcast because
Oh, good.
I want to come out. Like we've been talking about places next year. We try to do a couple trips a year. And I just think we've done a lot. We up in New York, we've done Hinsdale, we've done Wildwood, we've done West Virginia Penn, we've
Oh
done,
yeah.
we've done a lot of locations, but we like I think well, I know they did Pennhurst and I wasn't with them, and they did New Orleans and I wasn't with them. But I don't think we've done a ton in PA.
Well, when you do the Doss House, you'll be literally right down the road. So you
You'll
give us a
be
call.
I'm trying to get them to go to the Doss House, and I've been trying to get them to go to Crescent. And I'm like, there's these hot spots that that I keep reading about, and like your theater, and so like they have a list.
all of those locations are within 15-20 minutes
Of
of
each
each
other.
other. Like the Liberty Theater is 20 minutes away from Crescent. The Doss House is like less than 10 minutes away from Crescent.
Uh-huh.
And then you also have the Cambria County Jail, which is like in the
The
middle.
center of
It's
all of
like
it.
the center
Isn't
of
that
all
where
of it.
that's where they had Creep It Real at, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
At the
That is.
yeah.
It's funny because Doss House is 6 minutes one way from our house. The Cambria County Jail is like 3 minutes on the other side of our house. Crescent is 8 minutes, and then the theater is like 15 minutes.
I
And
just
so,
need to like live out there.
I mean, it's all right there. It's like, and the cool thing is that's like there's literally like some nights where it's like, just where do we want to go? Like, what do we?
Yeah, see,
Let's go
like
visit someone.
the most we get, like for me, like in this area, is people always want to go to Centralia, and I'm like, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
However, if you want to go to a haunted ghost town, I can take you to one that doesn't only have hauntings, it also has cryptid activity.
There you go.
Oh
And
wow.
that's within 20 minutes the other way. So it's just like, but people always focus on Centralia because of, Silent Hill and like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
It's
nothing like that up
Centralia,
there. Yeah, there's nothing up there. I've investigated it
Yeah.
multiple times, and not I don't get anything up there.
Well,
That wouldn't be anywhere else. But when we do Elvira, they have the bunkers like you see in Point Pleasant because it was a dynamite factory. The town was taken over to build a dynamite factory during the war. And so you have those bunkers there. I've had an experience there where I've heard a creature that like had this guttural growl that made me run.
well,
Like not even like a slow run. This was like 300 pounds barreling through the woods to get away from it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so and I always tell people that. I'm like, "Yeah, I understand Centralia is the place to go, but if you wanna truly experience a little bit of everything."
yeah.
And the thing is the prison butts right up. The prison is actually on part of the old town. The prison took over some of it.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
a whole
that's
bunch of energy and a whole bunch of
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
different
I
kind
said.
of.
That's why we're actually trying to get a paranormal convention going too.
Oh, that's cool.
Along with the cryptid thing, we wanna have a paranormal one because we really don't have one in this area.
Well,
And
that's.
we
I mean, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
badass goal.
Yeah, well, and I'm not good at planning that stuff. I can organize, but I don't plan well. You give me the job of making lists and organizing, and I'm all
Yeah,
good.
yeah. No, it's funny. We kind of man, we went from just doing like little small events to I would have never thought it was never something that if you would have told us when we were revamping and everything the group that like we were gonna host Paracons.
Yeah, I never
That we
pictured
just
that.
literally. I mean, I know that like going to events, and I know that I actually work for an event company and that organize. And you're such an organized freak in everything that you do, which is a blessing. That it just how did that even happen? We
We
just
kind of fell into it. That's what's crazy
yeah, it's
is
so
the
wild.
first one we ever hosted was last year, and it was the Liberty Paracon last year,
Right.
and it was because we were supposed to do an event somewhere else.
Oh my goodness, there you
We
go.
were supposed to vend an event and be a speaker somewhere else, and that Paracon, somebody else took over planning that Paracon and everything. everything
So
fell apart with it. And we were kind of a little upset with it, us and a couple other vendors. And I was like, you know what, let's just pull off something small at the Liberty Theater.
yeah, we ended
It
up
would
getting.
help raise money for the Historical Society. All of the proceeds would go to the Historical Society. Dark Hollow would make nothing off of it.
Yeah.
Let's just see what happened. And I want to say we raised like $3,000 last year for the Historical Society.
That's
And
awesome.
it was planned in a matter of, I think,
It
like
was like
4 or 5 months.
it was like 3 months because I
Three
remember
months.
specifically like, shit, we got to do it now, and it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and it was beautiful. So we were like, okay, we asked everybody. Everyone had such an amazing time. They were like, please do it again next year. And I said, okay. And then the Crescent one kind of fell on our lap too because they had brought it to our attention that they thought a Paracon would be great at Crescent, and given how big the location is,
Oh
I
yeah,
was
that
like,
place is
Massive, yeah,
ginormous.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
So then, of course, they asked us for help planning it. And again, that was something else that was planned in a matter of 6 months. They gave us 6 months to
All
plan
at the
that.
same time while we're doing Liberty.
And then, yeah, so
Wow.
that's how we end up putting off two off this year.
Yeah,
So,
and
And it's just like I'm excited. I actually want to come out to Crescent just because it was a little mixture of everything from what I was remembering. It was like
yes.
a sanitarium. It was an SCI. It was a little
Mhm.
bit of everything. And I know this area itself just, from the indigenous roots, we get so much because
Mhm.
that's something that I usually pick up on a lot. Also, because at Hinsdale,
Oh
I didn't
yeah,
I picked up on it immediately outside.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
I mean, I literally heard the drumming and the chanting, and I was sitting in my car crying. I wouldn't get out of it.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
And I feel that energy a lot of places,
Mhm.
especially where there was heightened,
mm.
activity, like in our area alone, like where we have like down around the river and where the fort was. I mean, and that's where a lot of our residential hauntings occur
Oh, okay.
in those areas. Because I always tell people indigenous people buried their people in mounds.
Yes.
And it's most likely every single one of those homes down by the river is
It was
buried
on a
on a
mound.
mound
No
that was
kidding.
never because look at West Virginia Penn, the big mound
Yeah, of
right
course,
across from it,
of
and look
course.
at the
Yeah.
activity they have there.
Yeah,
That's like the cabin and the
360.
three, yeah, the
I know
cabin.
Cabin.
I'm trying to get them on here
Dennis is
too.
awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's yeah. If you,
That
it's
location's really
between the
awesome.
mounds and then planting a yucca on them. Literally, you can go on the property in the back. I hope you really get to experience this because it sounds like you take great pride in that. You can go in the back and you can see mounds with the yucca still planted and everything all
Oh,
throughout the
wow.
property.
Yeah, he
That
walks you through the woods and you just see like
Yeah.
these random mounds with yucca on top of them, and yucca's not, that doesn't grow here.
right, exactly.
So it's wild.
And it's crazy how like even like the shapes of the mounds like it's almost as stereotypical as you could say. It's like you could
Yeah,
stand back and you could see where these mounds are, and it's just like you see a
that
mound, you know the shape and everything. It's like holy shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is another place that I have on my radar too. I actually got to meet them at the Battlefield Bash when
Oh
we were
nice,
there.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so, that is definitely a place that's on my radar. Like I said, I wanna stick close to home right now, though,
No, of course, yeah.
just because of my own issues.
Right.
Completely.
I'm still working on, building up the stamina to travel like I used to. I mean, my friend and I, we've driven all the way to Iowa
There you
to
go.
investigate. Like, we literally spent, I think it was 3 days at Malvern Manor out in Iowa.
Nice.
And, that place is remarkable if you can ever get out that way.
It's on my bucket
Absolutely.
list.
Absolutely. Josh is a great guy. The guy who runs it is amazing. And if you ever get out that way, let me know because I have dreams about that place still.
Oh, that's
Really?
cool.
I want to
Yeah.
go there in Villisca.
Yeah, and
Those are on
Velisca,
my
we talked because we
list.
did a
The
well,
only
we got
thing, Blisket was off season, and the only thing that we got there was a lot of weird local people. It was like deliverance, man.
oh
I
shit.
would have loved to have gone there when Johnny Hauser was still working there because he just knew so much about that place. And
Really?
it's sad that he's not there anymore, but he's tattooing now. So,
Oh yeah.
but
It's not
yeah,
such a bad thing.
I would like to get out there. Bucket list locations for you guys. Do you
But
have any that are like
Oh
you have
yeah.
to bucket list?
yeah, well, those two are definitely on my bucket list. So is Eloise in Michigan.
Okay.
That's definitely pretty high
That
up.
one. My biggest one I've ever wanted to go to. It's just ever since I was little. I've always heard about. I want it is Myrtle's Plantation in Louisiana.
Yeah, my end is of course everybody's like bucket list place is Waverly Hills.
Oh, you'd
Uh,
love it.
Oh, I love
Waverly's awesome.
I have not been there.
It's amazing. Of
I have an attraction to sanitariums, and I think it's
course.
because of my own mental health struggles. I feel at home in them, believe it or not. Because when I did St. Albans, it was like that place, like that's another place that calls to me that I have dreams about.
That's crazy that you say that because the very first time I ever went to St. Albans, I got deja vu looking at the grand staircase and I felt like at home, like I felt like I
Yep,
had been there
been
before.
there.
And I remember telling him because him and I went
We went.
together a second time and I remember telling him before we went, I said, I'm going to tell you before you go to this place, like, I don't know, there's something about this place. Like with me, I felt very weird, like very
Mhm.
I
like
actually have my
homey
picture
deja
on that
vu.
staircase sitting there on the
That's
grand
awesome. Yeah,
staircase.
we
Yeah.
had great. Yeah, Lindsay even did a solo. Did a solo on there.
Yeah, well, I ended up doing an unwanted solo in the administration hallway.
Oh yeah.
That's where the crawler is in the
Uh huh.
Yeah.
admin hallway. Well, yeah, him and I met, and I ended up on the ground.
Oh Lord.
Oh my gosh.
We someone had told us about this creeper, the crawler, or whatever it was, so we set up a laser grid, and we pointed it down. Now, I had these 2 heavy metal rock guys with me, and my other friend who's a nice, decent-sized dude, and then my friend, and I can't there was one other person with us, but my friend, she's little, but she's tough, man. I wouldn't wanna fight her in a dark alley, and so we're going down, and we heard a pop, and when we heard a pop, we seen this black thing come out of the grid, and, of course, everybody's like, "Well, what do we do? What do we do?" And I'm sarcastic as all hell. So I'm like, "I don't know, maybe run?" So they all did,
Oh shit.
and I didn't because I was being sarcastic.
And
And
they yeah.
next thing I know, this thing just hits me, and I'm laying on the ground looking up at the ceiling, screaming, "I lost my exit buddy."
Oh
Oh
my
my
god.
gosh.
And then I spent the rest of the night in the safe area
Yeah.
because I couldn't get up off the floor.
Oh my goodness.
They literally thought they were gonna have to call, like, take me to the hospital. But once I
Oh
got off
Lord.
property, I was fine, and it was really weird because I think it was, Amy Allen from Kindred Spirits.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say
They
that,
were
right?
there, like, right after us, and she had the same experience
Oh
in that
wow.
hallway, and they had to take her off property.
That's
That's
crazy.
insane. Yeah,
Yeah, so
we had a great investigation at St. Albans. And we live because we're in Virginia currently, so we were in Woodbridge at the time. We weren't far. It was like 4 hours, 4.5 hours, something like
I
that.
think
I
it
don't
was
even think it was
three.
closer.
I think it was closer to
Yeah.
and
an
but that's
hour.
another area that there ain't nothing around there.
Oh yeah, it's just like
No.
Radford University, and then that's it.
That's
Mm-hmm.
it. Because I
That
know
is it.
I think where we stayed was, like, a half hour.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, whew, that was
We
one of the
drove
crazy
that.
nights that we drove all the way there, got there. It would to Eric and Madison, our group, got us in there, and we closed it down and drove about halfway back, passed out in the McDonald's parking lot, and then woke up and drove the rest of the way.
Mhm.
So yeah, it
Oh,
wasn't no more
yeah.
than a couple hours.
I've had those nights, and that was just working with private clients where we would drive out to New York and then go head to Connecticut, and
Nah, I hear you.
we'd end up like pulling into a rest stop and sleeping for an hour or 2 and then,
Yeah.
going back out. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so yeah, I totally get that. But yeah, that is definitely I like the sanitariums. Trans Allegheny is another bucket place for me.
Oh yeah.
Trans Allegheny. I used to live in Morgantown, West Virginia, so I was only 45 minutes away from Trans Allegheny. So I've been there umpteen times. And it's one of those places that it doesn't matter how many times you've been there, you don't get sick of it.
Never.
It's
Now, and
amazing.
I've done so much research on Trans Allegheny
Mhm.
and the way it was built and everything because that's what I did. And I was supposed to go there, and then COVID hit.
Man.
That'll change everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm immune suppressed, and they still had the
Oh
event, and I'm like, sorry, I cannot take
yeah.
that chance because I will die. And I ended up getting it anyhow, but I didn't die, thank God. Maybe, I don't know.
Nah.
Maybe I'm not. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no. So yeah, I do want to try to get there because when we did, um, I've done West Virginia Penn probably about 5 or 6
Mhm.
times now. But the one time we did it, and we did it along with the Bel Air House,
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
and that place is another place. If you could ever get there, I mean, it's insane. Like I don't even like to stay in there long because I get sick.
We were right down there. We did the Ross
The
house right
Ross
there
House
too.
is
And
also
isn't that
nearby
like
too.
right down the road
Right
from
down
each
the
We're
road.
other?
right down the road
Yeah.
from each other.
They
Yep.
look
That was
very similar even.
Yeah, that was one of the places we did. We did a paranormal honeymoon. We went 5
Oh,
locations,
that's right.
5
Yeah, you
nights.
were telling me about your
Mhm.
I need to get my husband, but he doesn't like the paranormal. He likes aliens. So,
Well, there you go. Well, I mean, shit. Yeah, just take a drive.
yeah,
Just take a
Let's do
seriously.
drive.
a paranormal cryptid honeymoon.
These
Yeah.
days, they're everywhere. Everything's
Oh,
everywhere.
oh yeah, because I think sometimes all I like to do is go up in my backyard because there's something up there that likes to watch us in the woods. So,
We
yeah.
just moved back to the country. Like we're finally out of Woodbridge, Virginia, and we live in. We moved to Gore, Virginia. We're in the bottom of a mountain.
Oh gosh, I don't
Um,
even know where that is. I know
yeah.
bits and places because I had family in Newport News and Hampton, and then
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
my husband was stationed at Little Creek.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. No, we are.
We're
We're
right outside Winchester.
Winchester.
Oh, I know where Winchester is. We used to drive through Winchester.
Yep.
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 We're
So
right
we're
out.
right.
We're like 20 minutes away from
Yep.
Winchester.
That's it.
Yeah, that's not that. Yeah, that's a nice area.
Yeah, we're
Mhm.
happy because we can actually get to the theater in our house in Evansburg in
Well, you
Yeah.
guys are
2 hours.
that close. Wow, I didn't think Virginia was that close out to
We are at a point where it's like pick a direct. You choose 4 directions. You're gonna either stay in Virginia, but you might even hit Maryland. You might hit West Virginia, and you might hit PA.
Mhm.
We're right here, like a
Yeah,
quad
I
area.
noticed that when we were going out to the first time I went out to the pen when I drove myself.
Uh
Because
huh.
when other people are driving, I never pay attention to that stuff. But I know it was like West Virginia and I think Ohio was right there. And it was
Oh
like,
yeah.
because I think the Bel Air house is actually in Ohio.
In
Yep.
Ohio. Yep.
Right over like the
Yeah.
bridge. Yeah. Uh
Yeah. And I know we had people that stayed at the Bel Air house when we were doing the pen. I did not. I stayed in a hotel.
huh.
I was not staying in that place after I was in there for a few minutes and had to go outside to breathe. But well,
Mhm.
I appreciate you guys coming on tonight and talking about the theater. I'm going to put links in the description of the podcast and also on YouTube. I'll also share links on my Facebook pages when I post it because I want to get as many people signing this petition
Yeah.
We
before your
appreciate it.
meeting on the 22nd because if I could come and talk on your behalf and explain to them how important it is to have these history, not just for the paranormal, but for history itself, because we're losing our history.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like, and especially like mining history.
Of
In
course.
Pennsylvania, there's very few locations that get into the history of our mining because they're all closing.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing we're trying to
Yeah.
change, and we're trying to put a new footprint in it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I will probably definitely catch you guys at a couple events throughout the year, probably.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, without a doubt.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like I said, I'm going on the paranormal circuit this year totally. Last year I was only here and there, but this year that's the goal. I'm gonna be healthy and
We're gonna rock and roll. Well,
we're gonna rock and roll.
you always hit us up if anything.
Yeah.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, we
definitely.
love
You
and
guys
support, and we always share your stuff.
definitely. I loved like just having the opportunity to like chat with you guys tonight and to support a great place like that
No,
because
we're really grateful.
Absolutely.
and I'm gonna even like knock you out on my TikTok, which I don't very often knock out paranormal stuff. Well, I do, but I haven't knocked out anything with my podcast on there. But I learned how to do clips today,
There you go.
so now I can shoot them onto my TikTok. So
Oh, and watch out.
yeah, watch out,
Yeah.
man. My daughter is actually the one that helped me hook up all of this. She was a communications major in college.
There you go.
So
Hey, God bless.
when I came on and said I want to start doing a podcast, she's like, "Well, this is what you need. This is what you need. This is how you do it. This is how you do."
Yeah,
So now I just push a button.
yeah.
Everything has been
Between
created
Lindsay
for
and
me.
the bids, the boys.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they teach me a lot.
Yeah. So definitely. But no, I want to thank you again. And like I said, everybody will be able to find your links. I'm gonna probably link your Facebook page for the theater too.
Yeah.
Of course.
I try to pull as many links as I can. and
Thank you
post
so
them.
much.
All right. Well,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
And I appreciate it. I'll be right back.
Okay.
From our friends at Got Knockers, Strange Knocks Magazine. Strange Knocks Magazine is your ultimate companion for exploring the enigmatic corners of our world. Delve into the shadows with us as we uncover the mysteries surrounding cryptids like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster, and examine the tantalizing possibility of extraterrestrial life visiting Earth. Our pages are filled with compelling true crime stories that defy conventional explanation, alongside mind-bending conspiracy theories that challenge the status quo. Whether you're a seasoned skeptic or a curious believer, Strange Knocks Magazine invites you to expand your horizons and entertain the unexplained. With captivating articles, expert interviews, and reader submissions, each issue promises to spark your imagination and thrill your sense of wonder. Join us in our quest to illuminate the unknown, one strange knock at a time. From our friends at God. Make sure and check out our merch store at Bonfire. We are a Bonfire verified creator. Link will be in the description.